Hello, my name is Dr. Ridwan Fontaine, and today we are going to be looking at the vocabulary for Surah Al Imran. So in the previous video, I said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is redefining success and failure, and as Muslims, we are supposed to be getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not worrying too much about the outcomes. Now, one of the things I said in the previous video was also when I first started looking at this surah, I got lost in the details. There's so many things going on and there's so many details that it's actually quite confusing. So in order to kind of simplify things, I kind of have developed a framework, and I call this TAS, Taqwa, Akhlaq, Sabar. Okay? So Taqwa is basically about the internal motivation of a Muslim. Why do we want to do something for the sake of Allah? Because we have taqwa. If we're doing things for something religious, but we're doing it because of other people, or we are being hypocritical, obviously there's no taqwa there. So taqwa is a very, very important concept. The second very important concept is akhlaq. And akhlaq relates to the rights of Allah and the rights of the people, right? And it's not difficult, but essentially there's a relationship between taqwa and akhlaq. So if you have the right taqwa, you will behave in a nice way. If your taqwa is lacking, then you're going to be committing sins, you're going to be, create problems for other people, and so on and so forth. The third is sabar. And sabar is you stand up for your principles, whether things are easy or difficult. So it's easy to be very religious when everything is fine, when you're surrounded by nice people, when you have a very nice environment. It's much more difficult to stand up to your principles when people are putting pressure on you or trying to bully you. So kind of Islam expects you to have enough sabar. So even if you are in a difficult situation, you will do whatever is the right thing to do. So if you look at these three concepts and you link it to the surah, the first part of the surah talks about the Christians. And this is a negative case study. In other words, this is an example of what not to do. And essentially, the Christians lacked taqwa and sabar, and because of that, they could not accept the Prophet ﷺ. The second part of the surah deals with the jobs of the Muslim. And basically, we're supposed to develop taqwa, we're supposed to do amar bil ma'ruf, and we're supposed to have sabar, right? That's kind of the ideal situation. And the third part of the surah deals with the battle of Uhud. And this is a positive case study. This is a case study where the Muslims had taqwa and the Muslims had sabar. So even though they lost the battle, they got closer to Allah. So in terms of the dunya, it was a loss, but in terms of the akhirah, it was a success, right? So as we go through the videos related to this surah, I'm going to keep referring to these three concepts: taqwa, akhlaq, sabar. Taqwa, akhlaq, sabar. But in particular, this surah is focusing more on sabar, right? So we'll talk about that later. Thank you very much.